Guys, I wanted to begin with two little sort of asides before we get into the meat of the material. The first is that in my own introduction to Russian Systema and in my own early years, I was so tense and so muscle-bound that first and foremost I was very ego-shielded, and I was very resistant to the idea because it was so completely divorced from all the other martial arts that I had trained. So I want to say that to you because I know that's a totally normal response to say, yeah, it's good, but how the hell am I going to use this? That happened very, very, very strongly for me. Secondly, when I started to feel a little bit of that advantage, that efficiency creeping in, I became lost in the wiggle. I started to get soft for the sake of soft. If you look back at things like my original DVD, Primal Power 1, a lot of my striking then was loose for the sake of being loose. And I look back at it now and I say, oh my God, that's so laughable. But it's what we were being taught to do. And everybody around us was modeling that behavior and really encouraging you to be looser and looser and looser. I've said it so many places before, but it begs repeating here. Relaxation and structure are relative to context. We would never want to be totally relaxed. Some degree of contraction is necessary. And what I often see missing in a lot of these styles that are promoting this whole wave energy, whether it's Systema or Bagua for that matter, is this notion of relaxation at any cost. And then people are somehow making force taboo, making contraction evil. If I can have all of my structure perfectly aligned, and if I can marry all my joints with gravity moving forward and dropping down as I deliver it, and if I can have all of my muscle moving me in the same way with the very least amount of antagonistic interference, well then I want to contract those muscles as strongly as I can, hit with the power that I can safely endure in my tool, and deliver as much force to bear on that subject as I need to end that encounter. There is nothing wrong with force. There is nothing wrong with contraction. There is nothing wrong with a fit body. In fact, true relaxation is the exclusive domain of somebody that is fit. A body that is in a state of unwellness, that is unhealthy, overweight, with poor joint mobility, can never be truly relaxed because that body's already in a crisis survival state. So I encourage you, if you're new to this type of work, to approach it with an open mind and to don't judge your judgment. If you find yourself resisting it, that's normal. Come back to it, whenever you want. Come back to it, take your time, absorb what's useful, as Bruce Lee said, and ignore the rest. You might find some of the stuff you discard might be useful to you down the line, but at the end of the day, if you can improve with one little attribute, do so. Secondly, I would say don't get lost in the wiggle. If you look at your own work and you see that you're kind of lost in the ideal of relaxation, I encourage you to tighten it up. I encourage you to take ownership. Make it yours. Don't make force and contraction taboo. Just get rid of the excessive force. Use your health. If you have size, learn to use it well. If you're small, learn to functionalize it well. If you're flexible, why not maximize it? Use the tools you've been given. Use the tools that you've cultivated. Make yourself the best you that you can be. Now, aside from being willing to abandon the need to always manifest the wave, and aside from the ability to understand that the wave can be far more subtle, a third characteristic that we saw that is important for successfully integrating the wave is understanding that we need to integrate it from a realistic delivery mechanism. So one motion that comes out very often is my rear hand will be jab catching and addressing, and again guys, jab catch is covered very deeply in the renovated boxing DVD, but I'm using the rear hand for greater reaction time to catch, except in the cases where I'm in an antagonistic stance where it'll be the lead going against the jab. And then oftentimes I will use my opposite elbow in a wing-like motion. This can be simply as a reactive flinch defense. This can be as a destruction. This can be as a fake leading into a preemptive elbow. So I'm working defensively, the elbow and then coming through. But I can also use this very substantiated, justifiable defensive action to set up the motion for opening up my arm into a larger wave-like strike. So if you see a strike like this, people will say, well, that's very obvious. I just punched down the middle. And that's true. If I was standing here going as fast as I throw that, it looks perhaps achievable to hit my chin. But what you need to understand is that in application, I'm going to be snapping these in defensive capacities, throwing back my own jabs, using whips, and then from that action, setting it up. What we're going to do now is, rather than pose for the magazine cover and stop it, is after the elbow we're just going to come back. So I'm literally making a figure eight. Right? I could just do a circle and return, right? Like a boxer would punch and use more of a circle. If instead of using my elbow, I use my fist, mechanics don't really change. My elbow still comes up pretty high. So most boxers will hit and circle back. But if I want to weaponize the return, instead of just coming back with my head, I come back. So I can do it with my hand, obviously, but if he comes in, my elbow can come back here. So give me a fast jab. I'm already coming back. Give me a jab cross. I'm here like this, right? Here, right? So instead of now relying on anything, this hand is always free to hit. Give me a fast jab. I'm here. Anything you want. If I want to extend to the hand, this is here. I have to control it, right? Because I could be all the way here and open across, right? Right. Look how fast at a distance. We're not close enough to hit, so I can release the Kraken. Give me a full speed. Yeah, exactly. That's as fast as he goes. That's the speed we want, right? So as we get closer, it's here, right? I'm literally shielding with my elbow the whole time, and it's working totally with my fear response. When it comes, I'm right in there. I can duck it down more. I can hit here. I could do this motion and then drive low. Give me a hit. Right here. So this same motion is letting me open here, or letting me open there for that matter. Because he thinks this is coming. Give me a jab cross. Boom. I come right over the top. Same action. I just stop it soon. Does that make sense? So all I would like to see now is you're still catching. I'm throwing the elbow, but now instead of circling the return, I figure it. I cut and I come back with the elbow. Like this, yeah? If you're ready, I throw you a jab. I'm going to give you jabs. Whoa, that's it. And I come back with your figure eight. Exactly. He's already there. Make sense? Enjoy. Last one. You can use pads, you can use gloves, whatever you wish.
That sounds good.